Welcome back to Aurora Tech Channel. Today, I will review the xTool M1 Ultra. This machine is an upgraded version of the xTool M1, which I have previously reviewed. The M1 Ultra can perform laser cutting and engraving, blade cutting, inkjet printing, and pen drawing. The 10-watt base model starts at $1,300. The bundle I'm reviewing today is the 10-watt Advanced bundle, which includes the fully enclosed M1 Ultra, 4 blade tools, a set of color markers, and the inkjet module. Let's take a closer look at the features. The laser module is a 10-watt diode laser, although you can upgrade it to a 20-watt module. The laser dot is 0.08 by 0.08 millimeters, allowing for very fine engraving. The blade module comes with multiple different blades. There's the fine point blade, which can cut light and thin materials like vinyl or paper. There's also the regular cutting blade, which cuts thicker materials up to 2.5 millimeters thick. There's the rotary blade or disc cutter, which cuts fabrics like cotton or denim. The last one is a foil transfer tip, which can create foil effects on paper or make embossed patterns. Moving on to the inkjet module, which is pretty self-explanatory. It performs color printing just like a normal inkjet printer, but it allows you to print not only on paper, but wood and many other things as long as you can fit it into the machine. The pen module allows you to draw by simply attaching a pen to the module, and it works on all kinds of materials such as paper, ceramics, wood, acrylics, and more. The modules are quick swappable, so you can easily swap between the laser, blade, inkjet, and pen module. The working area of the M1 Ultra is 300 by 300 millimeters, and the maximum Z height is 25 millimeters. With the optional riser base upgrade, you can work with materials up to 125 millimeters thick. The motion system uses the same steel wheels you see on most other xTool machines. The machine doesn't come with a camera, but with its multiple point alignment system, you can not only position accurately on rectangular objects, but also on circular, polygon-shaped, and line objects. You can also use your phone to take a picture and then upload the picture to the machine to work as a camera. It also comes with a probe and a motorized Z-axis for you to set the focal length automatically. I'm super excited to test out the 4 different functions of this machine and see what they can create. I would like to thank xTool for sending me this machine to review, and I would also like to thank FlexiSpot for sponsoring today's video. We use the FlexiSpot E7 standing desk as our workbench, and recently, we added the new E7 Plus. Having multiple desks allows us to work more efficiently, as the height can be freely adjusted, which is especially useful when testing multiple machines. The original E7 has a 2-leg frame and can lift over 350 pounds, while the new E7 Plus has a 4-leg frame, making it even more rigid, and so it's capable of supporting over 540 pounds. Both are built like tanks. That's why FlexiSpot is confident enough to offer a 15-year warranty and a 30-day no questions asked return policy. Moreover, there are various options and accessories for you to fully customize your desk. In fact, I purchased my first FlexiSpot desk with my own money before they ever offered to sponsor our channel, so we are truly impressed by their quality. Visit their website at flexispot.com and use this code to enjoy an extra discount. Besides the machine and the heat press, I also received a few other boxes from xTool. To make things simple, I would just start with the machine. There's a shipping box on the outside, so the retail box is well protected. The machine comes in one piece, with the other accessories packed inside its body. We have the machine and the basic carriage attached to the machine, which allows you to use the pen for drawing and also use the fine point blade. The multiple function carriage is for the regular cutter, rotary cutter, and the foil transfer tip. We also have the 10-watt laser module and 2 cutting mats. The blue one is for paper, vinyl, and other thin materials, while the pink one is for fabric. It doesn't use a honeycomb bed, and instead, it came with a set of triangular prisms similar to other xTool machines. Besides that, we have the user manual, some sample materials, a toolbox, power supply, exhaust fan, ducting, and a box of color pens. The inkjet module came in a separate package. The user manual was printed nicely, and it's over 260 pages, but you don't have to read all of it as it's just in multiple languages. For English, you will only see around 25 pages. As this machine comes in one piece, there's no assembly required, but you still need to form the prisms as a cutting bed. There are 2 blocks for you to align the cutting bed, one on the left and one at the top. At the back, we can see a fan port, which allows you to attach the exhaust fan and ducting. The connectors are for powering the fan, so you don't need to connect another cable. There are also some basic filters similar to those fish tank filters. There's an inlet for the air assist pump, fire suspension system, power supply, the USB port to your computer, some extension ports, for example controlling the on and off of the air pump, and more ports for future extensions. To remove a module, you can just lift the lever and remove the module. To install one, just slide it in the track and get the pin connected, and lock it by pulling down the lever. The machine is now ready to use. I connected it to my computer using a USB cable, and it's going to home itself. Then, the software shows the screen for a firmware update, and after a while, it will restart and we can connect to the Wi-Fi network instead by entering the SSID and password. Next, we can disconnect the USB cable and reconnect to the machine using Wi-Fi. I haven't tested a 10-watt laser module in at least 2 years. I'll run a power test on Plywood to see what the optimal settings are for this 10-watt module. First, I will let it use the probe to set the focal length. As you can see, the distance is set to 13.3 millimeters automatically. I will run this power test from 100% power to 10% power at different speeds, from 50 millimeters to 100 millimeters per second, or in other words, 3,000 to 6,000 millimeters per minute. I will draw a preview frame, and the position looks fine, so I will start the job. It seems using anything slower than 100 millimeters per second will burn too dark, so I will run another test from 110 to 160 millimeters per second. It seems that around 160 millimeters per second, the engraving result is still pretty good, so I think somewhere between 150 to 200 millimeters per second should be usable. As a 10-watt module is not going to provide very strong cutting power, I will try to cut this 3mm plywood at different speeds from 5 to 10 millimeters per second. It seems we need to cut slower than 5 millimeters per second, as when using 100% power at 5 millimeters per second speed, it still didn't cut through completely. I will run another set using 2, 3, and 4 millimeters per second. It can cut through completely at all speeds at any power 80% or greater. 4 millimeters per second means 240 millimeters per minute, which I think isn't too bad for a 10-watt module. I will also try to engrave a photo on this plywood. For engraving, I will use 80% power at 200 millimeters per second. For cutting, I will use 100% power at 4 millimeters per second. The engraving result of this 10-watt module is really nice. It looks way better than 40-watt modules. Then, I will try some thick wood cutting, starting with the 1/2-inch poplar solid wood. I didn't expect it to cut through this 12.7mm poplar wood, but it looks like it can cut through more than half. Then, I will try 1/4-inch wood, which is about 6.35mm. This time the cut is clean, and it cuts through completely. The result matches this machine's claim to cut to up to 6mm thick wood. I will then use the same 1/4-inch poplar wood to engrave a Gryffindor logo and cut it out. I will try to get the most out of this piece of wood, and also show you how the alignment system of this machine works. Bring up the marking tool, and as our stock is a rectangular shape, I would choose rectangle. Manually move the laser cross to the top left of the stock and press the mark button on the machine. You can see point 1 is checked. Then, move it to the bottom right corner and press the mark button again. Now both points are checked and you will see a rectangle here. When we press done, it will also show up on the workspace. I can now open the SVG file and make it as wide as possible to use up the entire piece of wood. The engraving is beautiful and the cut is clean. The bottom is also fairly clean, except the prism left some wood oil marks. The job took a little over 23 minutes. I think I can push it a little faster, but I like the depth engraved on this piece of wood. Next, I will engrave a round logo on this credit card size coated aluminum card. Positioning a round logo on this small card can be challenging, and even with a fixed camera, it's sometimes still a little bit off. I will use the 2-point marking to show you the exact size of the card in the workspace and try to position it at the center. I think it looks good. I will use 80% power and 200 milliliters per second speed for this job. The job took 3 minutes and 15 seconds, and I think the result is excellent. The alignment is pinpoint accurate, and the coating burnt off, so you can see the natural color of the aluminum card. Up next, I will try the multi-point marking alignment on a round slate. This time select a circle. We are going to pick 3 random points on the edge. Now, the size of the slate is showing on the workspace. I will fit this SVG pattern inside and see if we can get a good result. I normally engrave the pattern slightly larger than the slate to make sure it covers from edge to edge, but it seems the 3-point circle marking alignment is working great. We've already made a few simple projects with a laser module, so let's now test some other tools available on this machine. I will first try to cut a piece of fabric. I think for this thin fabric, it doesn't really matter even if I just use the small fine point blade to cut it. It's the only blade that is installed on the basic carriage on the left. I will use 150 grams of cutting pressure and a 20 milliliters per second speed. Run a preview frame just like using the laser module. As expected, even the fine point blade can cut through this fabric completely. Then, I will cut a piece of heat transfer vinyl sheet. As xTool also sent me a heat press, I will try to make something on a t-shirt. I will mirror the text in the software, and this time, I will use 200 grams of cutting pressure at 20 milliliters per second. The cut looks deep and I think it should be fine. The heat press came with a wireless controller. I will use it to set the temperature and time. It heats up really fast, and the time required to iron the vinyl on the shirt is just 20 seconds. I think the result looks pretty cool. Next, I will try to cut a piece of leather. I have a large roll of leather patch, but the small piece cut from a roll can't be laid flat even on the sticky surface. So, I will use some painter's tape to secure it. I will first use the laser module to engrave a logo, and then I'll change to a rotary blade to cut a circle. You may wonder why I would use a rotary blade to cut it, as using a laser can cut the same circle, but I will show you the difference after this job is done. The one on the left was cut by a diode laser. The front looks not too bad, but when I flip to the back, you can see that using a laser to cut leather will burn the edges, and the edges will shrink a little under high heat. The leather fits perfectly on the 3D printed lens cap, and overall, using a blade is much better than using a laser to cut leather. Then, I would try to draw something using the pen module. The machine came with a box of markers. They look like regular markers, but I don't think you can just grab any random pen to use with the machine, as it has to fit in the pen holder in order for you to mount it on the tool head. If you pick a random marker, the size and the grooves will most likely not fit with the pen holder. Mounting the pen is the same as mounting the fine point blade. For drawing, I will set the pressure to 45 grams and use the same 20 motors per second speed. Draw a preview frame as usual and then start the job. I think 45 grams may be a bit too much. As you can see, the triangle inside the letter A is being pressed a bit too hard. But as the tip of the pen softens after this press, the rest of the text looks fine. I will also draw a cartoon ghost and see how it looks. It looks like a hand drawing. The little ghost is very cute, and this machine definitely draws better than I can. Next, I will try the Inkjet module. First, I will print Goku on a piece of plywood. As you can see, my plywood is not flat, and the module actually moved it a little. I will just stop it and manually align it again before I switch back to the laser module to cut it out. As the plywood moved, the alignment was not perfect, but overall the result is still okay. It's really cool to be able to print color onto the wood and laser cut it out. I would then print a photo on a puzzle. As the puzzle is as wide as the maximum working area, I would just make the picture slightly smaller and leave a white border around it. The job took 7 minutes and 53 seconds. When working with something that's not completely flat, the inkjet module will touch the workpiece and leave some marks. As the ink is not completely dry yet, I use the Q-tip to carefully clean it up. The final result is not perfect, but it is still acceptable. Okay, let's talk about the pros and cons of this machine, starting with the pros. 1. The overall build quality is high, and the small details are well polished. It's in line with other new xTool machines, and I would definitely call it a premium machine. 2. The multi-point marking alignment works very well. I remember when I tested the xTool S1 last year, the marking system could only align with rectangular shapes. Now, it can align circles as well. This alignment system is pinpoint accurate, and is even better than most camera systems out there. 3. The probe for auto distance setting is handy. It has been upgraded from the xTool S1, which needed to travel to the right side of the machine to retract itself. This new probe works like a high-end BL Touch. 4. This machine doesn't come with a camera, but I actually don't think it needs one because the multi-point marking system works so well. You can use your mobile phone app to take a picture, and the software will simply display it on your workspace for easy alignment. However, like most fixed single-camera systems, the accuracy is average, reaching up to 1 millimeter. It's similar to using a webcam in Lightburn, and it's not bad. It's good for jobs where high accuracy alignment is not required. 5. The different kinds of blades work very well. I tried them with paper, vinyl, fabric, and leather, and all you need to do is set the correct pressure. The cuts are sharp and clean. 6. The Inkjet module is a new addition for this laser engraver. It's a simple printhead, similar to those found in entry-level inkjet printers. It allows you to work with many different materials as long as it fits inside the machine. It works okay, but I will discuss it further in the cons section. Now for the cons. 1. The inkjet module doesn't perform as well as a regular inkjet printer. From the design of the ink cartridge, it's clear it's HP, but I'm not sure if it's 60, 61, or 65XL clone. Using an inkjet head on this machine feels like a compromise. For plywood, it does a decent job if the material is perfectly flat. However, since the print head is very close to the object, any unevenness can cause the material to shift. The ink itself also struggles to dry when printing on surfaces like puzzles rather than on paper or plywood. The puzzle I made was from the xTool material pack. I had hoped the inkjet module would perform better with it, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. Even after more than 24 hours, the puzzle still isn't dry. 2. Since this is a Class 1 laser, it must be fully enclosed to operate safely. While the bottom plate can be removed to accommodate taller objects, the machine's advertised Z height is 25 millimeters. In practice, it can handle objects up to 50 millimeters tall when the bottom plate is removed. However, the software restricts operation in this setup, so purchasing the riser base for an additional $200 is necessary if you want to work with slightly taller objects. 3. The bottom plate is a metal plate with black paint, which can get marked during laser cutting. To protect it, I had to use a glass bed or another steel sheet, otherwise it can get messy after a while. 4. Considering the price of this machine, I believe it should include an air assist as it's essential for laser cutting. However, you'll have to opt for the deluxe bundle or spend an additional $169 for the smart air pump, which allows the software to automatically control it, turning it on during cutting and off during engraving. Alternatively, you can use a generic air pump, which costs much less but requires manual operation to turn it on and off. In conclusion, this machine stands out as more advanced than most other laser engravers on the market. If your primary need is heavy cutting, especially thick wood, then the S1 would be a better option. However, this machine's lower power laser module with a smaller laser dot offers superior engraving quality. With multiple tool heads, it surpasses typical laser machines in versatility. The build quality is excellent. It includes a full range of accessories, and both the laser module and blades perform well. The alignment is pinpoint accurate, and my only drawback is the relatively basic inkjet module, which still has a lot of room for improvement. If you are interested in this xTool M1 Ultra, I included its link as well as the link to my website auroratechchannel.com, which tracks prices and offers recommendations for over 150 popular 3D printers, laser engravers, and desktop CNC machines. That's it for this video. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.